Hey guys, Tim with Little Crow Gunworks. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm out at the 100-yard range and I'm working on our 6x45 poor man's PPC, and I'm going to be testing some more charge weights with N130 and our Berger 87 grain VLD. Remember from our last video we had the little kind of sweet spot of 3-4 charge weights in a row that all hit in the same place and had similar size groups, and it was on the lower end of our ladder test that we shot last time. So now I'm just out here shooting the 7 charge weights below that to see how far that sweet spot extends, or if it, basically where it falls apart, or if it does fall apart, and if there's any other spots down low where this thing wants to shoot in the 28-2900 foot per second range, or low 28s, high 27s I should say. We got our long shot Ranger Plus camera system set up downrange. Got the tablet here with me, and just getting ready to start shooting. It looks like I got a bird or a moth or a dragonfly or something. It's like a bird. Screwing around with the camera, using it like it's a perch. Hopefully he doesn't take a dump on it. Oh, there he flew away. Alright, so I think we're all ready to go here. I don't have my Accutrigger bipod with me, so these charge weights are going to be shot off my Rock VR front rest. I don't think that'll have too much of an effect on how it shoots, but may introduce a slight variable that I wasn't anticipating. But I think we're ready to go here. So I'm going to shoot this round robin like I do everything. I'll start with the left end of the target, work my way to the right, and then zigzag back and forth until all the shots are fired. And then I think we'll determine which charge weights I'm going to stretch out further and see how these loads shoot at long range and see if we can pick a winner. So I think we're ready to get started here. Get my long shot camera fired up here. Right, I think that's recording. .805. That shot is considerably higher than I thought it would be. I don't think anything changed with the scope. Hopefully that's not effect of me using a different front rest. .787. .781. So the first 3 shots are all really consistent to each other, but in a very different place than the previous charge weights. I don't know if something on the scope got messed up or what. I'm really hoping not, because then I'm going to have to come back and waste ammo to check zeros, which I really don't want to do. So that's quite a bit different than previous charge weights or anything else, really. That makes me think the scope got bumped. .767. A slight point of impact shift, 2747. We see the groups are forming higher than the last time, and I don't know if that's, like I say, if the scope turret got moved, or if that's just a function of me shooting off of this Rock VR front rest versus that Accutrigger bipod. If just changing the rest added that much vertical, that'd be really interesting if it did. It looks like it's almost an inch difference of vertical, so I think the only way I'm going to be able to figure out what happened is to come back and shoot, everything again with whatever, with the not everything again, but shoot the sweet spots or the loads I want to test farther and check zeros with that bipod and see where things land. I don't know what else to do at this point. $27.40. $27.49. Yeah. Two shots overlapping, 29 or 27.39. So those two shots were 27.39 and 27.49. Vertical on that one, 27.52. So those two shots were 27.40 and 27.52. Ooh, that felt good when I let it go. About a half inch apart there. 27.57. And the last shot was 27.47 for that charge rate. There was vertical again, 27.66. Last one was 27.67. I have a feeling these next three are where we're going to see some consecutive promise, not just one charge weight by itself. Partially overlapping, 27.94. Last one was 27.81 for that charge rate. Woo! I don't want to say I told you so yet, but pretty good. 27.90, 27.88 was the previous. So 2 foot per second extreme spread for 2 shots and almost 1 hole. See if the third one cooperates here. A little bit of top and bottom, but those 3, I'd say almost 4 charge weights. Yeah, 4 charge weights are really tight. The fourth one from the left shifted a tiny bit down, but we'll get more information when we can put a third shot on all of them. Let her cool off a little bit, and we'll shoot that same charge weight and go back to the right. That felt really good, and it looks really good. The clover leaf, probably a 1/4 inch or less. 28.02. So those 3 shots were 28.05, 27.87, and 28.02. So what's that? Extreme spread of 18. Not bad. And that jumped out a little bit. Felt good when I let it go though. 28.01. Velocities are 27.88, 27.90, and 28.01. Extreme spread at 13. Pretty good. Ooh, that felt really good too. 27.82, 27.81 rather. Last of these are 27.81, 27.94, and 27.81 again. Extreme spread of 13 again. Very good. It dropped out the bottom now. I'm not sure why that happened. That felt really good when I let it go, so I don't know. That felt really good. 27.82. So the shots were 27, 67, 66, and 82. So whatever that is, stream spread at 16. Still very good. Those 4 in a row are all really good. That one shot that dropped out the bottom, you know, that could have been me. I don't know for sure, but I would still call that a really stable area. Or 12 shots, and the whole group for all 12 shots would probably be under a ½ inch if you overlaid them all together, maybe even 3/8. It looks like they'd all be encompassed by that one where the shot dropped out the bottom. If you slid all those shots together, they'd fit whatever that group size is for that third one from the left that dropped the shot. Whatever that group size is, I think that'd be the group size for all 12 shots. So still a very stable area. Probably worth testing further, but we'll see how we do on the rest of the test here. I'm really liking how stable the point of impact location is on these slower charge weights. You know, not as fast as the higher end stuff, but more stable. And at long range, those types of loads will usually perform best. The ones that are in the most stable area, not necessarily the fastest, most hot rodded load. In my experience, I've found the stable ones across time will shoot kind of no matter the conditions, where the more hopped up, hot rodded ones are more fussy. But we'll see how we do here. That one in the right hole of that pair. 2767. Got 2747, 2757, 2767. Never done that before. Stream spread at 20. Stream spread's starting to grow a little bit as we get to the lower charge weights. See how that trend goes from here on out. Felt really good when I let it go. Looks like that went in the bottom hole. There's 2 in the bottom hole and 1 in the top. 2756. Those were 2740, 2752, and 2756. So extreme spread of 16. So same as most of the rest of the test. And very small. Alright, last shot, and we'll get the board back here, measure some groups, and figure out what we're going to do next. Felt great when I let it go. A little clover leaf down there, probably about a 1/4 inch. 2737. So our shots were 27, 49, 39, and 37. Extreme spread at 12. Very good. So all of our extreme spreads were good. 18, 13, 13, 16, 20, 16, and 12. All very good. Average point of impact location is super stable all the way across. I think that's probably where I'm going to want to be. Exactly where and what to test further, I don't know. I'll measure some groups here and see where we land. Right. Measure some groups here. Thing continues to impress. Okay guys, I got everything calculated here, and this rifle and cartridge and bullet combination just continues to impress. Our worst group on here was a 592 and a 594, and then there was a 592. I guess we'll just run through all of them here. So I already talked about our extreme spreads, but I'll mention them again. 18, 13, 13, 16, 20, 16, and 12. Our vertical 0.233, .178, .495, .195, .083, .296, and .240. These are all very similar to each other because all these lines are parallel. These have the same average point of impact location. This one is just slightly lower, but I don't know if that's enough to matter. And then we step back up a little bit, and then these three have identical average point of impact location outside of our little flyer there. Group sizes: 0.259, 0.345, 0.594, that was the worst one, 0.195, 0.592, all horizontal, 0.296, and 0.287. So a lot of really good groups. I think anywhere I pick in there is going to shoot well, but I'm going to have to nitpick a little bit more and figure out what I want to test further. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to have to come back and see, at least test something down in here, waste a few shots, and get the Accutac bipod back installed, and then maybe test a few shots here and a few shots here and just see where they are vertically, and then probably also test one of these other charge weights that I said we're going to stretch out further, just to see by comparison where they are, because I know how all these shot relative to each other, these top three rows, when I had the bipod on, but now these were shot with a different rest, so I just have to see by comparison where do these hit relative to some of these other ones, and then I'll be able to, you know, reverse engineer where my zeros are before we go out to the farm and test them at long range. So for sure, trying to hold this and do this at the same time, this is a little bit tricky. For sure, I'm going to test these two LT30 charge weights at long range, this N133 charge, and then I'm trying to think of how much brass I have left before I get through its second firing. I think I can test 4 different charge weights with N130, so I'll probably test between these two, and then between these two, and then maybe one down here, and maybe I'll test this one that shot the smallest, that has big stuff on either side, and just see what that does, and we'll see what we get at long range. But anyway, I think that's it for this one. As you can see, this combination just continues to shoot absolutely ridiculous. I'll have to come out here and, like I said, check zeros and shoot those couple different charge weights and make sure everything's on the up and up before we go out to the farm, which I probably won't do a video on that unless something, well, maybe I'll record everything, and if anything interesting happens, I'll share that with you guys. But otherwise, I think we'll just pick the winners and or contenders, I should say, to test out at long range, and in all likelihood our next video will be out at the farm shooting 640 yards with these perspective loads, and see if we can find a winner. But anyway, thanks guys. Like, subscribe, share with your buddies, all that good stuff. We'll see you on the next one.